Hello everybody, it's your favorite telenovela talker. Today I'm going to talk about another novela in a rant style format because I feel like the last time I did it, it was very structured and I didn't really say all that I wanted to say. All I said was, this is good or this is not good, and I felt like it was kind of empty, to be honest. So I would like to do that video again, but not right now because we're going to focus on something different. Today we're going to do Cuidado con el Ángel. And I wanted to talk about it because it's a novela that I held close to my heart at a time. And then when I watched it back and then when I thought about it, I was, it's not a good show. It's not a good show for young people. It's not a good show for older people. But we're going to start by talking about why I used to like it. Well, the number one reason why I used to like it was because Juan Miguel, William Levy, obviously he was fucking hot. Mind you, I watched this when I was a child. So what was I supposed to know? By child, I mean like 13, 14. And I wanted to keep watching because I wanted to see how would this hot dude fall in love with this pretty chick. And I mean, look at him. At that time, okay, now he's not the same. But at that time, he was very, very sexy and hot. I don't think that anymore though, because I'm a grown up now. I don't think that. I'm not a child anymore. I have better taste. Ryan Reynolds, roll my eye back and toss my hair to the side. Kim Namjoon. He's daddy. But anyways, I also used to like it because at that time, I thought that the romance in it was very solid. And by solid, I mean that even when they weren't together, they were basically together. Even when their paths were very separate from each other, they always end up meeting somehow. And every single time they met, there would always be that spark between them. And I also liked it because it had a lot of fluff moments. And from what I saw again, because I do own the DVD, and I watched it hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of times. I think I've even seen it more than Hasta que el dinero nos separe. Just because I had more time at the time. And it had a lot of fluff moments, you know. They're together and it's all cutesy. It's not all lustful like some other ones that we're going to talk about later in the series. And also, surprisingly, this is the first novela that I've ever seen all the way through, beginning to end, first episode, last episode, all the way to the end. And for me, it's very nostalgic because it's also the first DVD I ever bought. The first DVD novela I ever bought. And I feel like this show is not very suited for younger audiences. Really not suited for teenage audience because, you know, teenage audience, they'd be forgiven everything. Older people audience is not even good for them either because I feel like it perpetuates certain things that are very unhealthy. Would not watch it again. If I watch it again, maybe to for the nostalgic factor, but I wouldn't really enjoy it, to be honest. It's not a good show. Now, let's answer the question, why I do not like it. The answer is because when rewatching it, and a certain scene came up, the scene where she was blind and she ran into the car and rolled into the side view mirror, I laughed. And that scene is not meant to be funny. It's meant to be serious. It's a very serious situation. Something happens to her and it makes her even more blind. But if I laugh at something that's supposed to be serious. Also, there are many scenes that are unrealistic. I mean, novelas in general, super fucking unrealistic. But I feel like this one is even more unrealistic in the sense that in another scene, when Juan Miguel performed surgery on Marichui so that she could see again, technically, it's very unethical for a family member or someone that you know or whatever to do surgery on you. I don't know why, but it's just unethical, man. I'm not a doctor. And another glaring problem is that when Marichui reveals to Juan Miguel that Juanito is not his kid, he starts going all crazy, talking mad shit. He's literally telling her up and down about how she's a bitch and la la. I mean, he doesn't say that because, you know, this is a telenovela, can't be saying all that shit. But in other words, he was like, I can't believe you did this to me. La la la. And let's remember that the main problem of this novela is that homie tricked her into marrying him. And he's mad? What? What the fuck? And I haven't even got to how he tricked her yet. That shit's gonna go to later on when we're gonna have this whole discussion of R blank PE. But I can't say the word, demonetized. And another aspect that I don't like is that as a viewer, because I was watching like a couple episodes just to get my memory back, because I haven't seen this shit in years. While I was rewatching it, it was very stressful for me personally to watch it again, because in those moments where she gets backed into a corner by men every single time, and it's not even just Juan Miguel, like she gets backed into a corner by Omar, when she gets backed into the corner by Amador, and then she gets backed into the corner by her best friend, this bitch gets back into the corner by everybody. But mainly fucking Juan Miguel, because Juan Miguel is really obsessed with her for no reason. I mean, he has a reason, but like, he also has no reason because he is weird. Okay, anyways, we'll talk about that later. I'm not there yet. I don't want to. Okay, anyways, she gets back to the corner by everybody, and it's so stressful because why are you obsessed with her? Like, you weren't even with her for that long. And it's not just her, dude. Omar was not with her for that long. Juan Miguel was not with her for that long. Chill, fucking chill. Take a chill pill and just chill. Okay, and going back to that thing that everybody back into your corner, I'll be obsessed with her, whatever. I don't like that. It's emphasized in the novela that without a dude, she can't be happy. And at some point, she didn't have a dude, and she was mad successful with being an actress for a hot minute. But after that, she's not an actress, and I think that even if you don't have your vision, you could still be a good-ass actress. And even when she regained her vision, she was not an actress anymore. Like, I feel like her character was just there to suffer. And that's why I don't really enjoy this novela as much as I used to. I feel stressed out when I watch it because something bad happens to her every fucking time. I feel like the pacing was way too fast. How the fuck could something bad happen to her every fucking 20 or 30 episodes? Spoiler alert. I'm sorry. Like, if you didn't notice, this whole shit is spoiler. First bad thing was that she throws rocks at Juez Velarde's home because he put her in jail for stealing milk. And I don't know why she was mad about that. Like, I understand what if Juanitos need milk and all that, but you committed a crime and you couldn't admit that you committed a crime, so you got bitter about it and you trashed his home. You were gonna get arrested for that, jackass. Anyway, she got arrested for that. Again, she's been arrested twice, okay? And then, Juan Miguel saves her, takes her into his home, and now she's living with some bitch, obviously. She gotta suffer. So she's living with the suegra, yeah. The mean-ass suegra, because, that shit always happens in novelas. So she's suffering there. Okay, so she's suffering there, right? And then he moves her house because he's falling in love with her. Again, unethical. Like, the fuck? Anyways. And now she gotta suffer with fucking Juez Velarde, the dude that put her in jail. Obviously, shit was not gonna turn out good if he put her with the dude who put her in fucking jail. Jackass! Anyways, so now she's suffering there with him and some other chicks. And that's what I'm saying. Basically, she's fucking suffering. Not suffering, but okay, yeah, she's suffering, okay? Basically, she's fucking suffering. She's a character that suffers. That's her thing. And she's stubborn, by the way. And I like that about her. The only good thing about her and her personality in the whole novella is that she fights back at people who want to fuck her up. And I agree. Because she shouldn't have to take shit from nobody. But yeah, she takes it from fucking Juan Miguel just because she loves him. I don't know if this is going to need subtitles. This is definitely going to need subtitles. I don't have an editor though, so this is sorry about that. Anyways, yes. Have you noticed that I had this in my mind for a really long time? I just never had nowhere to talk about it. Okay, basically, she's suffering. And that's why, the whole rants, the whole thing that I talked about her suffering, it stresses me out just watching it. It stresses me the fuck out. And the one thing that I find so fucking sketch about both Juan Miguel and Omar and whoever the fuck else dude that surrounds her is that every time they explain why they like her to people, because that's what they do. They're like, oh my god, I liked her because of XYZ. Every fucking time they always bring up, I liked her because she's so innocent.
Inocencia. Ingenua. Hasta algo primitiva y llena de alegría de vivir. Fue el primer día que ella me interesó.
Her innocence and her wanting to live is what attracted me. She's so carefree. That's fucking sketch. I feel like people who describe other people that they're in love with and their first thing that they think of is innocent, it's such a sketch thing. That's because the word innocence is used to describe children. It's used to describe people who are naive. So you want to take advantage of her and make her into not naive or make her not innocent, and that's just my opinion. I know right now this whole rant about the innocence makes no sense. It's because it makes no sense to me, but I just feel like describing someone who you're in love with and the first thing you think is innocence is sketch. Very sussy baka of you. And now I feel like we should talk about the huge glaring problem in the whole fucking show that everybody forgets happened. Cause when I was watching it, the first time I watched it, I fucking forgot about it. Well, let's be honest. I forgot about it. Most likely other viewers forgot about it. But I didn't fucking forget. I mean, watching it when I was older, I didn't fucking forget. You guys remember how I was talking about R blank PE? So the story about that is that Juan Miguel was drunk. And by the way, this is never shown in the show, okay? This is like a background thing. This happened. She suffered through it. Okay. So he, R blank PE, he literally, R blank PE, Marichui. Yeah, let that sink in. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Let that sink in. He did that. And he didn't know he did it because he was drunk, la la. He knew he did it. He just didn't know who he did it to. And because, you know, she's having these horror nightmares as one would if you suffer through something as traumatic as that. And he does therapy on her because he's a therapist. I just remember that the wife, I don't remember what her name was. I just remember that the wife was like, oh, you think of more of your patients than me because you're a cura locos. Anyways, so he did that. He doesn't know who it was. This is a novela, so we have to have some conflict. And it was Marichui. He did it to her. He didn't figure out, but he figures out first and doesn't tell her. Let that sink in. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, it's sunk in. So he does that. He figures out, doesn't tell her. And he goes to like some priest and he cries about it. And he's like, oh my God, I'm sorry. Oh my God, I love her. She's not going to. Okay, you love her. She's not going to forgive you. No shit. I wouldn't forgive you either. Why? Just because you're hot doesn't mean I have to forgive you. We're going to talk about that later on because I do want to talk about pretty privilege. I want to talk about pretty privilege. Okay, so I don't even think I brought that up yet. We're going to talk about pretty privilege in the sense of this show. So he cries about it and then and I don't know how the fuck, but in his mind he thought, you know what? I'm going to marry her. It's going to make everything better. I'm laughing. I'm sorry. Who the fuck in the right mind thinks, you know what? Marriage is gonna solve it. Marriage and she'll never know. Are you stupid? Are you crazy? You need to get punched in the face for thinking that. Anyways, he doesn't tell her. And he was like, let's get married. Obviously, she likes him. And she doesn't know. So she's gonna say, yes, of course I want to marry you. Oh my God, I'm so happy. I'm crying, you know. So, they do the marriage. It's cute. It's a cute marriage, not gonna lie. And, they have their noche de bodas. They do the nest. And they're done. She's sleeping. She has her dream. She has the same dream that she always has. And then she wakes up because she saw his face. She saw Juan Miguel's face. And she's like, freaks out. Like, I would freak out. She freaks out. And then she runs away from the thing. It's all dramatic. She goes to the beach. He runs to the beach. He doesn't have a shirt on. Pretty privilege. And she's like, goes to him, runs to his side. Because it's a dream. Like, not all dreams are real. And she was like, oh my God, I'm so sorry. I shouldn't have said that. You did that. And like, I'm not even like knocking her. Like, I understand. Like, it's a dream. You don't think it's real. Of course, it's something that happened to you, but a dream doesn't always reveal the truth. She's like, oh my God, I'm so sorry for accusing you of something so fucked up like that. And then he's like, no, I did it. Obvious. Why the fuck would you say it like that? He was like, I did it. Forgive me. He's like, I'm sorry. It's not funny. He's like, and obviously, like, she runs away, not even that far, but she runs, a little bit away. She's crying on her own, and he's on his own screaming, Perdón! Shaking his fists and shit, his titties, his man titties out. And he's like, Perdón! Over and over, like three times or 4 times. I don't remember, but I do remember that he screams that shit. I don't know what, it's dramatics. That's people are at the beach enjoying themselves, and you're out there making a scene, screaming perdón. People are trying to relax and being weird. So obviously she's like, what the fuck? And she runs away, and as she should, cause I would fucking run away, as I should if that ever happens. Literally. That same night, he goes to her house where she used to live, and he's like, cause obviously she's not gonna open the door. So the person that she was living with was like, she's not here. She was there, by the way. But who the fuck is that scandalous to want to talk it out and do the forgiveness shit after she just found out? That is scandalous as fuck. Like, he's scandalous. He is really scandalous. It's not even her. Like, nothing on her. He's scandalous, okay? He's scandalous as fuck. Now let's talk about Pretty Privilege. You wanna know why I, as a teenager, liked the show? As I said from the beginning, Juan Miguel was hot. I'm pretty sure not just me, but many people who saw the shit when it came out were like, stop acting like a dumb bitch, Marichuy. Get back with him. He just blank PE'd you. Just get over it. People were saying that. If I was saying it, other people were saying it. Pretty Privilege. The reason why I think Pretty Privilege played a part in people forgiving that even happened to begin with was because in romance storytelling, the person who committed a mistake is really regretful about it, but then the other person, male or female, is supposed to forgive it. And that same type of dynamic could also be applied here in a way that because the viewer sees what he did as a mistake, not as something to really be dwelled upon. And that's why if Juan Miguel was ugly, people would not have forgiven that. People would have focused more on that aspect of the story. But because he was beautiful and he loved her so much, people thought that he should be forgiven because he's really regretful about what he's done. Juan Miguel was hot. He was very in love with her. I'm not gonna disagree with that. I'm not even blaming the writer. It's not the writer's fault. Romance is engraved in the brains of the women, and we're supposed to hunt for that shit. I understand that. How the fuck are we as an audience gonna forgive a dude just because he's sexy? How the fuck are we gonna forgive that he blank PE'd her? I just feel like that's fucked up. That's really fucked up. I, as a teenager, forgave that. I'm pretty sure other people who were watching it didn't really see that. Or like, again, because it was more of a background thing and it wasn't super upfront in our faces, I feel like that kind of made me, as the years passed, not fucking like it anymore. Cause I deadass did like this one. I wrote stories about it. I wrote fan fiction about it. Cause I write fan fiction about a lot of stuff. I literally wrote my own poster of M Heart J all over my fucking walls. That's fucked up. That a lot of people, including me, forgave that shit. So now I think that I should end the ranting portion here and let's start the reacting portion of the video because I just wanted to react to some of it. I feel like it would be fun, reminiscing, looking for yourself how stupid this shit is. And let's begin.
Marichuy empezó a dar la nota. ¿No te parece horroroso?
Así bailan los jóvenes, Isabela.
Por favor, no la justifiques, Cecilia. Es una vergüenza. Mira, todo el mundo la está mirando. Imagínate los comentarios que va a desatar. Esto es un desprestigio, Ceci.
In order for them to get his music, they had to pay hella money just to get that shit. Cuando me besas, me encanta. Si tú me abrazas, me encanta. on, let's pause here. Okay. I just want to make a comment. Why the fuck is Amador there? I mean, I remember how he got there because of his family members are Richie Poos and he got invited. He just looks like a problem. Why would you invite your problematic ass family member to this nice ass party? He doesn't even look like a rich person. He looks poor.
Que te sacaras de aquí, hombre. Yo no bailo con los maridos como tú, suéltame. Sáltate. Sácate, te estoy diciendo. Mira que no respondas.
Vamos a bailar.
The one thing I really hate is that she is in distress. She is in distress and nobody's helping her. Everybody's standing around. I saw a comment who pointed that out as well. And I'm going to put it on screen if I find it again. Boop. And I just think that it's pretty stupid for you to like not jump in when you see her in distress.
Se están viendo.
¡Me vales, hombre!
Amador, ya déjala, ya. ¿Qué te importa? Lárgate.
Vicente, ya, por favor.
Fiera, quieta, fiera, quieta.
¡Mugre, Coscolino, ya sácate! ¡Déjame! ¡Suéltala!
Amador, ya. Qué fiera, ¿eh?
Por Dios, ¿pero qué pasa? ¡Juan Miguel, no vayas!
Juan Miguel, no vayas. Her voice is annoying.
Amador, ya déjala, hombre, ya. Lárgate. ¡Aguántala! ¡Aguántala!
Damn, he punched the shit out of him. And he fell. What a loser.
Tranquilo. ¡Seguro que no! ¡No se va a quedar así! ¡Suéltame!
Why doesn't Marichui just leave the party? I feel like that would have been a good time for her to leave and like not have to deal with much of the aftermath of people like yelling at her, even though it wasn't her fault. But I just feel like it was a good time for her to bounce.
¡Seguro que no! ¡Seguro!
Te lo dije, Cecilia. Te lo dije.
¿Qué pasa? ¿Qué está pasando aquí?
Una pelea por culpa de Marichuy. Papá.
¡Se nos va a quedar así! ¿Qué hace usted aquí? Le dije que no quería volver a verlo porque lo podía mandar a la cárcel.
¡Ay, Vicente, ya llévatelo, por favor!
Y lléveselo inmediatamente de aquí. ¿Te das cuenta de lo que causas, muchachita?
Victim blaming. Victim blaming. It wasn't even her fault, dude. Like, why you gotta be like, you see what you caused? She didn't do nothing. She was out there getting crunk, you know, getting in the beat. And this guy straight up grabs her. Why is it her fault? This is why we have 2021 feminism.
¿Cómo es posible, San Román?
¿Cómo pudiste, Juan Miguel? What, you expected her to just be grabbed all up upon the dance floor in front of all your friends? You making yourself look dumb right now. It's not even her. You're making yourself look stupid.
Disculpe usted, juez Velarde. No me pude contener. Ese desdichado quería sobrepasarse con Marichuy.
Debería darte vergüenza, Marichuy.
¿Otra vez el llanto? Ya sabes que con lágrimas no vas a conseguir nada.
He has a point, but yes, it does. She just got assaulted, okay? Getting grabbed, assault.
Marichuy, ¿qué hiciste, hija?
I would have also cried. And I don't like how the motherly figure, Cecilia, was like, what did you do? Oh my God. Bitch, she didn't do nothing. You were just defending her dancing. Now you're trying to victim blame her because some dude grabbed her? You ain't it.
Yo creo que tiene que llevarse a esta niña porque está muy tomada. Sí, ya me la voy a llevar yo. ¿Puedes? Sí, claro, con permiso.
Marichuy.
Tú no vas, Juan Miguel. Quédate conmigo a la fiesta. Don't ruin my party, Juan Miguel. Okay, next video. Yvette.
Jean-Michel.
Omar. Tú.
¿Qué significa todo esto?
Juan Miguel, aún no he podido explicarte.
No, creo que
Mira,
no hace falta tantas explicaciones. Todo está muy claro.
No sé lo que será que te imaginas.
¡Eres un miserable!
Eres un miserable. He's so fucking stupid.
Nunca considero haberlo sido.
Es una revancha tuya, Omar. Jamás pensé que fueras capaz de una acción tan innoble, tan baja.
Es una revancha tuya, Omar. Jamás pensé que fueras capaz de una acción tan innoble, tan baja.
Mira, tú no puedes decirme nada, ¿eh?
Mira, tú no me puedes decir nada.
No porque sabes perfectamente que en realidad Marichu no te quiere a ti, sino a mí.
Yo, he was like, usted nomás hace eso porque usted sabe que Marichui me ama a mí y no a usted. He's so mad. For what? You guys aren't even together.
¿Te has aprovechado de una muchacha inocente, ingenua para vengarte?
Oye, eso sí que no.
No es la verdad. Además, ahora como si lo de Marichuy no contara, te acercas a otra mujer valiéndote de su enfermedad y de su inconsciencia. A pesar de conocer la situación en la que vive, reconociéndola, te acercas a ella y la usas sin el menor escrúpulo.
He wrong for that. He didn't even see them. Like, what do you mean? What do you mean that he's using her? Like, okay, first of all, they were just hugging. Like, you're taking the hug out of proportion. Like, they were not even going down and dirty. How was hugging cheating? What are you talking about?
Juan Miguel, no tienes idea de lo que dices. Por favor, escúchame.
Querías burlarte de mí. Ponerme en el peor de los ridículos, ¿no es cierto?
Querías burlarte de mí. Bitch, not everything's about you. Now he's just being a little bit narcissistic, in my opinion. I wasn't thinking about you. I'm pretty sure Omar wasn't thinking about you. Pretty sure Yvette, who's in the other body, wasn't thinking about you. You're narcissistic. You need to chill. Not everything's about you. You're the one that barged in.
En lo absoluto. Nunca me ha pasado por la mente hacerte daño.
Y que se rebaja. Quien se rebaja eres tú. Con una infamia tan semejante como esta. Lo que haces es abusar de un inocente, ¿me entiendes?
Estás demasiado ofuscado. Óyeme, por favor, y acabarás comprendiéndome.
No me ofendes, porque no es ella la mujer que has tenido en tus brazos. Esa sinvergüenza que está aquí es una mujer sin pudor, porque no es Blanca quien voy a convertir en mi esposa.
You wanna know what I just realized? So on one hand, he's saying that Blanca is the person that he's gonna marry, right? But then on the other hand, just before he started stating how he was gonna marry this bitch, he was like, Marichui don't love you, Marichui love me. First of all, that's fucking sketch. Like, how you gonna say to this dude that you love this woman and you're gonna marry her, but yet it's still on your mind? This is the scenario of los perros de los dos tortas. Like, you ain't gonna get none of them because you're such a bitch. See, this is why I hate him. See, Rafael Medina would never ever act like this. This is why I love him so much, because Rafael Medina Nunez is hella king and Juan Miguel San Roman belongs in the fucking garbage because I hate his ass and his guts and I hate his six pack and I hate all of him because he's such a toxic ass bitch. On periods, he could be hot, but if he's gonna be toxic as fuck like this, wanting both of them at the same time while not fucking picking and choosing, and then literally after this fucking scene, he's gonna see Marichui again and he's gonna be like, why the fuck are you gonna marry Omar? Because you don't even love him, you love me. And that's what he always tells her every single fucking time. Bitch, move on with your life. She's moving on with her life and she ain't thinking about you 24/7, but you're out there worrying about what the fuck she doing. And I wish I was gonna review a scene where he's being toxic as fuck at her fucking job. I hate men that are like this. Go to your job and make a fucking scene. But anyways, he's that type of dude. He's that type of dude to go to your job and make a fucking scene. I don't know who the fuck could love this dude. Won't catch me with someone like fucking Juan Miguel San Roman. Hell no. I'm more of a Rafael Medina Nunez, homie.
Es que yo no tengo nada que ver con Blanca.
Puedes pensar lo que se te dé la gana. Pero yo estoy muy por encima de todo esto, Omar. El que se revuelca en el fango. El que debe sentir vergüenza de lo que hace eres tú.
No me sigas insultando, porque no tienes fundamentos, ni te lo voy a permitir.
Ah, no, ¿y qué me vas a hacer?
Responderte como...
Pues no, ¿qué vas a hacer? Responderme como hombre. Man, he just came to fight. Just wanted to get 1, 2 in there and be like, she's mine.
Pues precisamente es lo que espero. ¡Que me respondas!
Respóndeme.
¡Vamos, respóndeme!
Tienes que entender que no te quiero en mi vida para nada.
Porque últimamente te gusta decir cosas que hieren a la gente. Empezando por mí.
A mí también me ha dolido mucho cosas que me han hecho. Pero he cerrado la boca. Nada más que ahora sí ya es el momento de hablar.
¿Está bien? Hablemos entonces sin ofensas. Por favor, porque esas ofensas pueden pesarnos. Y después no habrá manera de arreglarlas.
This bitch acting like he never offends no one. He's the one that always starts talking like that. She tries to be the composed one because everybody already thinks she's ghetto. But if he talks some big ass trash, nobody can tell him nothing. Double standards.
Es que no quiero ofenderte, Juan Miguel, pero...
She should offend him. She has the right to offend the fuck out of him. I don't want to offend you. Offend him. He needs to be offended. You need to tell him a bunch of shit. He deserves it.
Solamente quiero decirte la verdad. Todas. Pero todas mis desgracias te las debo a ti.
Sabes, no creo justo lo que me estás diciendo, porque...
Okay, and that I kind of agree with him. Not all the bad stuff that happens to you is his fault. At the beginning, it was your fault. In the middle, it was his fault. And then later on, it was your fault. But I feel like the glaring problem is that both of you guys do not want to take accountability. Y'all just need therapy. Not couples therapy, separate therapy. Go your own ways.
Si me dejas hablar...
No, a ver, espérate. Mejor óyeme tú a mí, porque estoy cansada de pasarme la vida pensando y llorando por ti, sufriendo como una loca por ti desde que te conocí. Lo único que hago es vivir con el Jesús en la boca.
Marichuy, lo único que he hecho es amarte con todo mi corazón.
Marichuy, lo único que yo hago es amarte. Fuck off.
¿Amarme? Eso no se llama amor. Hasta me cambiaste la vida, Juan Miguel. Tú estabas casado y llegó esta burra a enamorarse de ti.
What do you mean? He wasn't married at the time. How are you the one being a homewrecker if she's presumed dead?
En contra de mis principios. Claro, sin saber que ya habías estado en mi pasado.
Marichuy, ese es el amor. Uno no lo planea. Solo le llega y lo siente en su alma.
Después de todo lo que pasé odiando a todos los hombres por tu culpa, te conocía de veras y las cosas empezaron a cambiar. Pero ¡zas! Ahí va el destino y nos separa de nuevo. Y creo que sobra decirte todo lo que sufrí otra vez en silencio por tu ausencia.
Actually, I think Destino was right in separating you guys. You guys just don't function together. He doesn't necessarily take the time to understand where she's coming from, and she has to take all the efforts to understand where he's coming from, and it's just unequal.
¿Y sabes qué? ¿Sabes por qué sufrí más?
Porque me amas. Y sufriste igual que sufro yo ahora, arrepentido, porque te niegas a aceptar la realidad, Marichuy. Impotente.
Porque me amas, porque tenemos que aceptar la realidad que nosotros estamos mejor juntos. That sounds toxic. That sounds like a toxic ass relationship. Codependence, motherfucker. Do I hear it? You guys don't have to be together. You guys don't need to be together in order to survive. You guys could be separate. You could co-parent. There's a bunch of other options, but you don't have to force a relationship just because of your feelings and other circumstances. Don't ever stay with a dude because of a kid. If you love him, that's a separate story.
Exacto, Juan Miguel. Impotente. Triste. Porque no podíamos estar juntos. Y no importa de quién fue la culpa. Simplemente nos separamos y ya.
Marichuy, escúchame. Ahora podemos estar juntos como siempre lo deseamos. No te niegues, por favor, a la felicidad. No te niegues a la felicidad ni me la niegues a mí tampoco.
Ay, por favor, Juan Miguel, tú no puedes ser la felicidad de nadie. No seas cínico.
Por favor, Juan Miguel. No puede ser la felicidad de nadie. No seas cínico. I agree with that statement. Not that he's not the happiness of anybody. I don't agree with that. He's somebody's happiness. But I do agree that he's just not her happiness.
Escucha, Marichuy. Ahora, por favor, escúchame a mí.
No. Yo todavía no termino y tú no tienes ningún derecho a decirme que quieres hablar. Cuando lo que hiciste fue pedirme que yo hablara contigo.
Bueno, entonces termina de decirme todo lo que tardes dentro de una vez. Por favor.
Bueno, dime con qué cara llegas aquí y me hablas de amor. De contentarnos. ¿Qué no te das cuenta? Estuve a punto de quedar ciega para siempre por tu culpa, por tu imprudencia.
I do not agree with the statement that she just said, but in later videos, the accident that she's talking about will come up, because I do have that video, and you're gonna see how stupid that statement is.
Ese coche me pegó muy fuerte y fue gracias a ti. Tú dices que me amas, pero... ¿Tú crees que yo quiero un amor que me ha hecho tan desdichada? ¿De verdad tú me crees tan tonta como para querer un amor que solamente me hace llorar a cada rato? Y que con eso sufro más.
Sí, es verdad. Todo lo malo, como siempre, es lo único que cuenta contigo.
I noticed that throughout this whole conversation, he's kind of been gaslighting her. He's been saying how she's being stubborn and how she needs to give in to this grandiose love that they have. And right now he just said, as always, she only takes into consideration the bad stuff. He doesn't want to recognize that what he did to her was something big, and at the same time, he's brushing off any type of harm that he's ever done to her by only wanting to focus on the good stuff that they had in their relationship. Again, remember that this same dude is the dude who at the beginning was all asking for forgiveness and shit. And what I noticed is that throughout this whole novella, he never confronts the fact that he did what he did. It's like at this point he has forgotten the R blank PE. In his perspective, he's loved her enough for that to be forgiven, and they should just be forgotten. Those negative feelings should be forgotten because he loves her so much, and he insists that she also loves him so much, which is true, but he doesn't want to admit that he has done her wrong in so many different ways. And I also want to add that I don't think R blank PE should be used as a storytelling element if you're gonna abandon it right away, because it makes the viewer not take it as seriously as it's supposed to be, and it also makes it seems as a writer also does not take it as a serious topic when in fact it is. I'm glad that telenovelas now do take it as a serious element and they don't just brush it off when it happens. They focus with it and at every single moment denounce such actions when it comes up. But I'm just very disheartened that during this time, even though there wasn't as much talk about feminism and sexual abuse, I'm just kind of disheartened that this was even made as a storytelling element and it was dismissed so quickly. And while she's trying to make him see all the bad that he's done, he doesn't want to admit it. That's why I think that they shouldn't really be together, because you can't be with somebody who doesn't want to reflect on what they've done to you and to other people throughout the whole relationship. Their relationship was never stable. It was always one trying harder than the other, because there was times when Marichui did want to try, but Juan Miguel just gave up because he had other stuff going on in his life, which is, it's not a good thing to build a relationship on. Their relationship is, if you think about it, very artificial. They haven't really gone through any struggles together, and they also haven't been able to really bond. Most of their bonding have been through other people and through their memories rather than what's actually happening at present. That's why I think that they really should not be together. And this argument is proof of why they should not be together. For the people who are watching this video, I know that I was originally talking about this novela. If you're going through a relationship where your significant other is always getting mad at you and you feel like you have to fix it, then I think you shouldn't be with them. If they're always putting you down in very subtle ways, you should recognize that and point it out and make a fight over it. You shouldn't have to be the one to make the peace only to make them feel better about themselves. That's why I think even though this novela is trash, people who are in relationships could actually learn and see what they want in their own relationships, and not like how Juan Miguel is treating her. You have to realize that communication is always the key, and that's something that they've never had, because their relationship was always short. It was never long. So they don't truly know each other 100%. Love does not conquer all.
Pero ¿sabes algo, Marichui? No me hará de hacer hincapié en esto porque puede sonar como petulancia, pero la verdad es que después de tu accidente con ese coche, yo me fui a estudiar. Me fui a prepararme debidamente para regresar y salvarte la vida.
Pues ya deja de repetírmelo, me tienes harta con la misma cantaleta. Juan Miguel, la verdad era mejor que me dejaras tranquila.
¿Cómo dices eso?
Es que no te sorprendas tanto, porque hubiera sido mejor eso que tener que agradecerte siempre. Que por ti es que sigo viva.
No puedo creer que digas tantas cosas sin sentido, Marichui.
Yo no puedo creer que estás diciendo tantas cosas sin sentido, Marichui.
Deberías poner los pies en la tierra.
Lo que pasa es que no te gusta lo que oyes. Pero tú querías que te hablara la mujer, no la niña boba de siempre, ¿no?
De todos modos, estás siendo muy injusta conmigo. Marichui, te amo, y es verdad que hemos pasado cosas muy duras y difíciles, pero esas mismas deberían habernos fortalecido, unirnos más como pareja.
¿Pareja? Es que, ¿cómo esa palabra hablando de nosotros. Y menos cuando no se sabía si me moría o no. Tú andabas ahí, nada más de facilote con Ana Julia. ¿Ok, ya se te olvidó eso?
Marichuy, eso es una mentira.
Ah, sí, pues fíjate que yo sí creo que fue verdad.
Marichuy, todo eso fue un invento de Ana Julia para separarnos. ¿No te das cuenta de eso? Debes haberte dado cuenta que siempre te ha estado engañando.
Bueno, dime uno. Solamente un motivo para que yo te crea a ti y no a ella. Ella fue la única que me quiso decir la verdad todo el tiempo.
Marichuy, te lo juro por el amor que te tengo. Nunca pretendí a Ana Julia, jamás le dije que me interesaba, porque no es cierto. No la quiero, no la amo, nunca me ha interesado como mujer. Y mucho menos la he querido. Te lo estoy jurando, Marichuy, por favor, escúchame.
Tú me estás jurando que no le entregaste tu amor a ella. Entonces también me puedes jurar que no tuviste nada que ver con ella. ¿Puedes hacerlo? ¿Me puedes jurar que no hiciste el amor con Ana Julia?